this evening for our second webinar in a two-part series, With Great Power Comes Great Responsibility, hosted by ISPCC. The ISPCC is a partner in the Irish Safer Internet Centre, whose vision is a positive and inclusive digital world where children are safe and protected. The webinar is co-funded by the European Union, and we are delivering it this evening with the support of this funding. The webinar this evening is for young people aged 12 plus and their parents and carers, and will focus on online safety and critical thinking. My name is Niamh Clark, and I'm the Community Engagement Manager with the ISPCC Childline. Also joining me on here tonight on the webinar is my colleague Victoria Howson, and she also is a Community Engagement Manager, and Siobhan Harvey, Parenting Lead. And we're absolutely delighted to be here this evening with you. Firstly, I'd like to go over some housekeeping with you all. And then talk a bit about our services and programs that we have on offer. So firstly, you might have noticed that all participants have been automatically placed on mute with your cameras off. We will have a Q&A session at the end. So if you have any questions during the webinar, you can send them into the question and answer function, and we will try to get to them, try and get to as many as possible. And Siobhan will be looking after them this evening for us. If we do not answer your questions, please feel free to contact us afterwards for more information, and all contact details will be shown at the end of the webinar. So just a little reminder that the webinar this evening is being recorded, and it will be made available on the ISPCC digital platforms. So first of all, we're just going to talk a little bit about the services that we have on offer here in the ISPCC. So we have our Childline service, which is probably the best known service. And this is our 24/7 service available to all children and young people up to and including the age of 18 via phones and online chat. We also have our digital mental health and wellbeing programs, which are aimed at reducing anxiety for young children and young people. And also we have our digital programs for parents and carers, and are managing their anxieties while supporting their anxious teen or child. We also have our support line, which is a listening service offering information, advice and emotional support to parents and carers. And it is open from 9 to 1, Monday to Friday, by calling 01 522 4300. For more information on any of our services, log on to www.ispcc.ie. I'm going to hand you over to Victoria now in a moment, who's going to talk about critical thinking while online, what it is and how you can develop these skills. So thanks, Victoria.
Hi everyone, thank you so much, Nia, for that. So yeah, everyone, tonight I'm going to be talking about critical thinking online. So it's kind of like talking about online safety, but it's something a little bit more specific, because some of you, either in school or with your parents and caregivers already, might have come across the term online safety, and this is going to be a little bit more specific and some tips and skills for you. And as Nia said, we'll also be taking some Q&As afterwards, so if anyone has any questions about anything I say, please feel free to use that feature and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. So, as you're all probably very much aware, we're living in an age where we have entertainment and knowledge and so much more at our fingertips 24 hours a day. So a lot of you may have access already to phones. You might not have access to phones just yet. You may use your mom and dad's or caregivers. You might have an iPad or a laptop, or you have a social media account. So like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or Snapchat. I might be very old by saying that. Maybe some of you are thinking Snapchat isn't actually around as much anymore, but these are all examples of what we may think of when we think of what we do when we're online. So this webinar series aims to tackle the overall arching skill that will help you to be safe online and to keep the balance in place. So you want to be able to use the online world. You want to be a part of it. Of course, it's something that your schools are going to be using to a good extent for your homework. It's something that your friends are going to be using, and it's something that we all use on a daily basis in our jobs, etc. So it's something we need to be aware of. with the age of information that we have, sometimes there's a little bit of an overload. So when it comes to this, sometimes you can get so much information coming at you, you're actually going to get a little bit of misinformation as well. So what do we mean when we say misinformation? This is information that comes from the sources you think you can trust online, but might not actually have been fact checked. It might be information that could steer you wrong and could be information that you might not trust. So when we talk about things like social media, so things like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, we talk about as well things like how it can be so beneficial, because there are a lot of benefits of the internet, and I'll be talking about that later on as well, about some of the positives that are out there. But there are also some things, as I said, that we need to be aware of for our own safety. So it's kind of like the quote, which is where this webinar comes from, in Spider-Man. Uncle Ben says to Spider-Man, "With great power comes great responsibility." So allowing this information that's out there coming into our homes, into our schools for about 24 hours a day, there's a lot of great things about it, but we need to have the proper tools. And one of the tools that we can use is critical thinking. So when we wear a critical thinking hat, this helps us to be safe online, but it also can help us in our daily lives. So when we use critical thinking, this can help us with some of the things that are a little bit more dangerous about being online. So some of these issues that cause issues for our mental health, our physical health, and our emotional health, and sometimes even our financial security, and in some cases causing a little bit of a naivety, or sometimes, again, like that misinformation. So for example, if you're online and you find out information about what is happening in one country right now, you will have so many different sources coming at you. The minute you type something into Google, we get a whole load of different links, a whole load of other organizations, companies, etc. out there that are wanting to give you that information. And with that, we need to be able to use our critical thinking hat to think about, well, what information is coming at me right now? And to do this, we can think of 5 key points. So these 5 key points for critical thinking will help guide you to sift through all the information out there, to set the misinformation aside, and to just get the information that's actually going to set you right, that's going to be safe for you, and that is going to help you with whatever needs you have for online. So those points are, number 1, where is the source of information coming from? So when we have critical thinking and we're trying to think of the information that's coming at us, where is that coming from? The link that you go into when you Google something, when you look up something on TikTok or even on YouTube or any of that, where's the information coming from? Who's it coming from? Is it from somebody who you can trust that will, check their facts, who will actually do research on this topic and is coming at it from an unbiased viewpoint? So again, really important to think of that. Where is the information coming from? The second point when we're wearing our critical thinking hat is, what are the intentions behind the information being given? And when we say intentions, we mean the people or the links that you're using to get that information. What are they intending to do with that information? What are they hoping to get from you reading that information or watching that content? Are they trying to make sure that you understand the full situation, or is there another intention at play? The third thing that we think about when we're using critical thinking is, are there paid ads, or are there sources providing the information being influenced by monetary means? And monetary means basically means who's